Originally, I was going to wait to do this review once I actually saw the dubbed version, because the dubbed version hasn't really come out in the US yet. In fact, I kept getting pushed back over and over again to the point I don't even know if it's actually going to be coming out. But I have seen the original Spanish version of it because it came out in 2013 in Argentina. And quite frankly, I didn't like it, and I do not want to subject myself to seeing a dubbed English version of it when all it's going to be different is maybe a little bit of new dialogue and pretty much English actors, and that's about it. Like, an English dub to a movie is not going to fix the flaws that the movie has, period. So every time I saw the trailer for Underdogs in theaters, or as the UK would call it, Unbeatables, because that's what it's titled over there, I just kept seeing the trailer and thinking, this looks like one of the animated movies I will easily skip. But when this movie kept getting pushed back further and further and further, I thought, you know what, it's caught my interest, so I'm gonna take a look at the original version. And boy, was I really disappointed with something that I didn't have any expectations going into it. The trailer would make you think that this is what the story's about. This one kid is this foosball champion in this small little community, and he goes against this soccer bully, and they duke it out in a foosball game, but of course our main hero wins. Upset by this one defeat that this bully ever had, he comes back to the town after he's a professional soccer player, threatening to demolish the entire town just because this kid beat him, and replacing it with a stadium. Then our main hero challenges him to another game, but the bully wants to play real soccer this time, and now he needs all the help he can get because he's not a real soccer player. The miniature men from the foosball table come to life, and now they help him and the town prepare for a soccer battle. That's what it seems like when you see the trailer, and for the most part it kinda is, but at the same time it's really not. Yes, when our hero and our antagonist duke it out in a foosball battle, our hero wins, of course, and of course our main villain is so obsessed with winning that all he can think about is this one defeat he had, and so he does go back to destroy the town because he bought it from the mayor, and now that he's this big soccer player, and he's going to rebuild a stadium over, but it's more of a, I want to destroy everything that this hero has and everything he loves because of this one defeat. So mainly he's focusing on destroying this place where the foosball table is and destroying the foosball table. He's just going a little extra by destroying the entire town and replacing it with the stadium as well. But the trailer would make you believe that this whole challenging the bully to another game happens during this moment and he's trying to save the town. When in reality, the challenge doesn't happen until the third act of the movie. Yeah, it doesn't happen until 2/3 of the movie is completely done. The whole threatening to demolish the town happens within the final first act, so that happens in the first third of the movie, but instead he just takes the girl and runs away to his mansion, and then it's just focused on the loss of his foosball table and trying to get all the foosball players because they come to life, and you get that for about a whole middle of the movie. And then when the actual soccer challenge happens, I don't think it's to actually save the town, unless I missed something in the translation or I missed something completely, but they're playing in the stadium that they used to demolish the whole town, so what's at stake here? Just honor and winning? I have no idea. Okay, maybe it's a little different in the dubbed versions of this movie. But I would assume that if you dub a movie, you're not really changing any of the core aspects, you're just making it English. So I have a feeling that those problems would not go away by just dubbing it with English actors. In this film, you clearly know who the hero is, and it makes sense, but at the same time, there's a lot of times where it takes the focus away from our main hero and focuses solely on these living foosball beings. And so they sort of steal the whole show away from our main hero when we're supposed to be focusing on his loss and him dealing with this challenge that happens to him. And if you look at the major plot points of this film, it's mainly about him coming of age. It's more of a growing up story of this character because he's obsessed with this foosball table. That's all he cares about, it seems, except for one extra thing, which is the love of his life. And so about 2/3 of the film, you spend him trying to get back his foos table because it gets taken away by a crane and put into the dump. It isn't until close to the last act that he finally realizes and grows up and goes after the love of his life, who's been practically kidnapped by the bully, and then the whole soccer match happens. It's like all the points of developing the character are there, but there's something missed in between those points because you focus mainly on these other characters that aren't our main hero during these points. This is also one of the most bizarre animated films I've seen, and I've seen some really, really strange and wonky ones. There's many aspects that feel like it's a completely different movie and just come out of left field. Like when he's trying to find the little figures in the dump, it becomes more of a almost survival horror story because it focuses on these tiny figurines that are alive now and they're being chased by rats, and it's really weird. There's a lot of scary, dark elements to this movie that just come out of nowhere. Like there's this carnival that they go to because some of the figures get taken away and used as like shooting practice or put on parts of rides. Like there's like these two that get stuck on this roller coaster and become attached to this roller coaster, one being the end of the roller coaster train and the other being on top of the hill when it goes up and then comes back down. There's also a creepy clown that pops up 3 times during this carnival scene that is just freaking scary and meant to be scary. There's just a lot of little weird elements, and then there's this whole laboratory that the bully has. Yeah, our main villain, I don't know if it's just him being egotistical or what the whole purpose of the scene is, but he's got a lab and there's 2 animals that he's genetically crossed with equipment, like sporting equipment. He's genetically altered doves so that their tails are like the banners of his team. And then there's, I can't remember if they're flamingos or ostriches. I know they're 2 totally different animals, and I just can't remember, for the life of me, I can't remember what bird it was because I just remember it being so wonky and ridiculous. But he crossed those birds with tennis shoes, and so like their beaks are like tennis shoes that still open up, and what? It's completely random and bizarre, and I don't understand the whole purpose of this scene is other than the human interactions where our main hero actually stands up to the bully and tries to win back the girl who's been kidnapped, and then a plot device in order to explode the mansion, which causes this heated argument about and causes the whole challenge at the end of the film. It also has a few sexual references, the kind that in cartoons where it makes you really uncomfortable to watch rather than actually being funny. Now, one of the things I can appreciate about the film is there is a whole deeper meaning to the entire film that resonates more to Argentina or football players. I mean football as in football or soccer, you know? I'm guessing for the countries this resonates the most for is it has an overall theme where it's foosball against newfangled video games with soccer, like the FIFAs and stuff. Because at the beginning of this film, this little kid is playing a bunch of FIFA and the parents are like, oh, he's playing that FIFA again. And suddenly that's the reason why this story is being told. Because the father of this son that's been playing all this FIFA tells the story about foosball and tells the story about this one hero of this town. And so I think the overall theme is showing people that are used to all this newfangled stuff in video games, showing the old ways and how they can appreciate that. And if it wasn't for the last act of the film, I would be giving this movie a far lower score. The film really shines in the last act when it comes to the soccer match because there's a lot of good emotional development, there's a lot of great conflict, There's a lot of great animation. There's so many great things about the soccer game, and it's easily the best part of the movie. Overall, Underdogs is still the worst animated film I've seen this year, and yeah, it's worse than Minions. So I'm giving Underdogs 1 star. If you appreciate it, that's fine. There's certain things in this movie that will resonate to different cultures and different people. So, did you manage to see Underdogs? If so, what did you think about it? If not, what is your favorite animated sports movie? Is there another animated sports movie? I can't think of one off the top of my head. Anyway, this is Bruce Gifford, and this was Just My Opinion.